In this episode of Frame the Beat, I'm joined by a very special guest and good friend, the incredibly talented Jess Bays. Jess is a true force on the global scene, lighting up dance floors from Ibiza to Brazil, Australia to the USA. She's commanded massive festival stages including Parklife, Latitude, Reading and Leeds, and We Are Festival. And her tracks are regularly picked up by major players like Defected, Warner, Universal and Sony. You've likely heard her music blasting across the airwaves on Radio 1, Kiss and Capital, and when she's not behind the decks, Jess has been behind the mic as a presenter of Rinse FM, Capital Dance, with frequent guest spots on Kiss and Radio 1. Simply put, she's everywhere and she's smashing it. I've had the privilege of working with Jess on press shoots and capturing her energy at live events. We've built a solid friendship and this episode means a lot to me. It isn't just about music. We're diving into a deeper conversation, stories on the road and what drives Jess behind the scenes. So tune in for a proper natter. It's one that you won't want to miss. Just a trigger warning as well, guys. Please note we do touch on subjects such as eating disorders and addiction. Thank you. Hey Jess, how you doing?
Hello Dan, I'm good. How are you, mate? I've been seeing your face a lot recently. I feel very lucky.
Well, yeah, actually, this is quite a special podcast, really, because I've actually seen you more than probably my family in the last few weeks.
Honestly, I love it. We don't see each other for ages, and then it's all like, what is it they say? Or two buses come at once.
I know. People might not know, but the last few weeks I've photographed Jess's press shots, and then we've also done a collab photo shoot with some artists, which we'll talk about in a minute, which was last week.
They're definitely my favourites we've done as well by a mile.
We did a glitter face shot, which we've been planning to do for ages, and decided to use this as, sort of shoot that we wanted to go down to do.
And I mean, it's still all over my house. Project.
Yeah, I know. It was a great shoot. And like I say, I'll put the pictures up now of some of them that we used. But just let's talk about that real quick. So it's for your new single, Ascension.
Ascension is like a collab. I've been working with Jem Cook and Kelly Lee for quite a while. We've done some original stuff, just us two. And then, I don't know, we was in the studio together writing originally something for me and Jem again. And obviously Kelly was there as well on songwriting because she's amazing, even just at songwriting as well as being the top line. And when we started recording it, obviously the girls were singing different parts, and I've always wanted to do a record with a duet on it. Like, I don't think anybody does it. I definitely can't think of one in dance where it's been a duet, especially of two women, especially with two such different style of voices. And I just said to the girls, I said, do you both want to be on this? And they were both literally like, yes, let's do it. So that's how it sort of happened. And the record is amazing. I really hope that it connects as well as how much we love it, because we put so much into it. Obviously, I've never gone and done like a big promo shoot like we've done for something like this. Like, we've got really cool like video graphics as well. So we've really gone the extra mile on this one. And it's out on the 25th of April. I've already had great feedback from like Danny Howard, Sam Divine, Hannah Want. So really hope it connects. I'm a little bit nervous just because it is so different, but Jade, my partner, can't stop singing it around the house, so that's normally a good sign that you've got a good record, right? If you can't get it out.
Yeah, I think it's one of those when you do a video shoot, and we did a photo shoot, but there was people from the label, lovely people from the label, that came down and did some idents and some sort of social stuff, and the track was overplayed. It plays and plays, and I've been on video shoots before. That afterwards, I did
you
that.
Hate it.
No, I did that Kid Cudi Day and Night. I went for Ministry and I was on that shoot, his shoot.
Oh, wow.
And it's still in my head. Obviously, it's a great track, the Crookers thing.
Imagine.
And he was there, and he was a lovely guy and everything, but I heard it over and over again. But this one last week I'm still like humming it, and like, it's got that kick and it's really good. And yeah, like I said, it's out. When is it out?
25th of April, Good Company.
Okay, so it's out then. And yeah, the shoot went brilliantly. The guys, Kelly Lee and Jem, were lovely to me, and our team with Alice and Hannah and everything was great, and Robbie at the studio. It was so much fun, honestly.
So
thanks to all those guys.
Thank you for doing it. Honestly, I don't trust anybody else with any press shots, visuals, or anything. You're my man.
Thank you, mate. So, okay, right. I always start like the podcast of like how we first met. We first met when you were TMing Sam, our friend Sam Divine, who's DJ. She's smashing it everywhere around the world. And just tell me how that came together with Sam, because Sam is you know, if people know the house music scene, she's like quite
One
a
of the
big
best.
name at Defected, one of the biggest female DJs in the house scene there is.
So we were friends. I genuinely was just, I appreciated dark like house music. I was actually originally into dubstep and drum and bass, and my partner Jade dragged me into the Defected tent at, I think it was 2016. It was the very first We Are festival in Essex that was ever done, and I don't know if you went or remember it, but the Defected stage was tiny at this point. It was kind of just, Defected is always massive, but to come sort of more into the commercial festivals, it was its first one. And they had this big white inflatable square tent, and I think it only held about, I wouldn't even say 1,000 people in it. It was that much of one of the smaller stages, but it was literally one in, one out all day long. Like, you could not get in it. And we managed to get in, and it was Sam that was playing. And I'd never ever heard of Sam before. But like I said, I was not into house music at all. And it just like blew my mind. Like, I didn't even really know I wanted to do anything to do with music. Like, I knew I always loved it, but I didn't know I wanted to do it as a career. I was actually working at Heathrow Airport as border force. That was my
Oh, wow.
job. Yeah. So in school I did forensic science and stuff. So that's what I wanted to do as my career. And I just saw her play and was just completely blown away with how she just captivated the crowd. Like, it was like they was all just moving as one, and it was all down to her and how she was playing. And I just looked at Jade and I just said, that is what I want to do. Like, I need to do that. So I DM'd her after, and Sam's great at being like interactive with her fans and stuff. And she came back straight away and gave me some advice of how to sort of like get into it. So yeah, I put myself through a DJ academy in London for 12 weeks and taught, like, they don't teach you they just teach you all the sort of like basics of DJing on all the technical side of it. And at the end of that, you get to go on, and if you do well, you get to play at Ministry of Sound. So the first place I ever played was in Ministry. And I sort of was working with Sam just as a friend, really. I think it just naturally evolved into tour manager, because I think somebody that is your tour manager has to be your friend and know you inside out, good sides, bad sides, things you don't like, things you do like. And having it as your friend, I think you can be a little bit more honest and real with each other about things. And yeah, she just said, come to some of my shows. So I came to some of her shows and just did her like socials for her and stuff. And it ended up just snowballing into a full-time tour manager. And we've done some amazing stuff. Honestly, I've been all over the world with her, and it was the best 4 years ever. And it taught me so much about the bad sides of the industry, the good sides of the industry, things people don't necessarily know about it. What it takes to sort of put a club night on. You don't just turn up and plug USB, and there's so much more that goes into it. And I started warming up for her a lot. And then I think when you start warming up for a headliner and you do well at it, other headliners sort of want you to do that as well. So thanks to Sam, I got into a lot of clubs that probably you wouldn't get into at the start of your career so early. And obviously working with her, I knew all the promoters, so they were my friends. So when it come to me saying, do you want to give me a shot, they just would, just because of the recommendation from Sam. So I'm very grateful for everything she did for me, especially at the start of my career. And then we launched Divine Sounds, Sam's labels together. Me, Sam, and Camilla, who is now working for DJ Mag and Defected, doing brand partnerships. But she's one of Sam's best friends for like 25 years. And the girls are still, I would still class them as my best friends now. We don't get to see each other as much now because of life and stuff. But yeah, the love is always there. That's never going to go. And yeah, Divine Sounds is turned into a monster now. Simon Dunmore brought it just after COVID, because Sam wanted to go up and focus on different stuff. But we got a few number ones on there, and that was literally just from 3 women who loved music. Like, we didn't have a clue what we were doing at the start, but look what it turned into, just through pure passion and love for the music. So yeah, I'm so grateful for everything she did for me, honestly, so grateful. And then Defected signed me once we started the label, and yeah, now I'm here.
So it's coming to my first point, actually, is what inspired you to become a music producer and DJ. So was it more that of Sam, or you were going out and listening to, you know, dubstep and things like that? Was that something that you wanted to do then, or was it more when you saw the house music stuff?
It was like, so it gets to a point, I think you probably understand this as well. When you're playing other people's records and stuff, as amazing as it is, you always have that kind of little itch. Oh, what does it feel like to play your own record out? So that's how I ended up making the transition into producer. I worked with an amazing co-producer called Richie, and his alias is Atkins, and he writes like breaks and stuff. But we work so well together in the studio. Like, he's my engineer, and it's just great, honestly. We've done some amazing things. I've done remixes for Becky Hill, Rudimental, things that I would never thought I would have got to get to do, basically. We've just got 131 million streams, and I've got,
Wow.
yeah, I've got a silver disc now from the Brits. So
Oh,
it's
amazing.
nuts. Yeah, we'd never in a million years expected it to do that. And I guess I've got the fans to thank for that, and all the radios and DSPs that get behind it, and my amazing
How
record label.
Jess, how do you work with an engineer sort of stuff? Because that's we do that as well. We work
Yeah,
with
of
our friend
course.
Reset Robot, and I think that's something that I've got into producing late and the last 10 years,
Same as me,
and
though. Yeah,
we've had and I mean I like working with the producer because
me too.
we go in and I think for me I haven't got time to keep everything really tight, like
Of
some
course.
people, and you think it's an important thing, isn't it? Working with someone you trust and you
Yeah, of
get to know their
course.
style and everything.
Do you know what? It's something that's really not spoken about enough, and I don't mind talking about it. I think what's the point in
No,
hiding how you work? Like, and I would never go and claim that I do everything myself when Richie is a massive part of what I do, literally, and I owe a lot to Richie. So yeah, we go into the studio. I'll go in with an idea. I'm going back to school now. I'm going to Tool Room Academy over the summer to go and
okay.
brush up on more techniques and stuff. And then Richie kind of just brings it to life with me. We get a vocalist in. I get very much involved in the songwriting aspects. That's something I'm really trying to home in on, because vocalist for me is my favourite part of music production. That's when I would say my strength lies in finding the right vocalist, getting all the lyrics down and ideas
And
and
how do you
stuff.
do that, Jess? How do you find a vocalist for the style of music you want to make? And how do you help with the writing when you're in the studio with her
Yeah, so I
or
just
him?
actually did. So I've just done something new with the Punctual Boys, and Punctual write a lot of Joel Corey, Becky Hill. I mean, I stepped into their studio and they had, I've never seen so many discs and number one
Oh,
things on the wall. So I was kind of nervous when I
yeah.
stepped into that, because it's going up in stepping up my production career, then going into those realms of producers. And Hayley May I had in that session for writing, and yeah, we chose what we wanted to write about. I always say that going into a production session is like a therapy session. I always say, like, what's wrong today then? What are we writing about? What are we pouring our heart into today? And we wanted to do something about love, because I only really trust Hayley May, sorry, the most with my love songs. Like, she's so good at it. Honestly, she's so good. And I just wanted to write something about, like, sort of reconnecting with your partner. Maybe you've been feeling a little bit distant and you want to, like, sort of get that love back together. And it's amazing, honestly. But it gets to a point where you kind of get stuck on, like, little verses together, and that's when we all sort of chuck ideas around together on things we like on top lines. Sometimes it's like banging your head against the wall because you can't get this one little syllable right, but it always comes out in the end, and I'm so excited about that record. It feels like my production has gone up the next level in that one. So I've sent it around to a lot of my friends, and a lot of them saying they think this is going to be a big one for me. So I can only cross my fingers on that one. So hopefully that should
So
be out sort of.
what's that one? That's the
So
next
this
one
is a new
after.
one. It's called Can You,
Okay,
and it's
right.
with Punctual in Productions. I think that they were going to
Yeah,
be on the record, but their
yeah.
schedule is slammed coming into summer. So they're just going to be. They do a lot of that anyway. They do co-writing. That they're currently in LA at the minute doing Becky Hill's new album. So yeah, they're amazing.
And
But
that's the direction you want to go, is more sort of vocal, not
yeah,
pop, but more
yeah,
commercial sort of stuff that you can be played on
yeah,
Capitol or Radio 1 as a radio edit, but then you've got an also club edit from
yeah.
remixes. So
Well, a
you
lot
want to
of
look at that
promoters,
more
I've been
sort
having this debate at the minute with my label and my team. A lot of promoters view me as commercial anyway. And
yeah.
I'm having a bit of frustration with it, because if they came to some of my sets, they would actually hear that I don't play commercial. Like, I class myself as an artist. Like, I can do everything. I don't just, like, want to be pigeonholed into one lane. And I'm a crossover artist, and it is one of the hardest lanes to stay in, because yeah, it's just tough trying
Yeah,
to
I was going
find
to
those.
say that.
Yeah,
I was
it's
going to say
very
that.
tough.
Sorry, yeah. Because if you're making music that you love, like vocal house or just even
Yeah,
commercial, on the end of commercial stuff, and then you don't, and then you get booked to play that, but then you turn up and then you play.
yeah.
I'm not saying techno, but
No, I know
sort of a bit more
it's
tougher.
tough. You
How
have
do
to.
you
This is sort
get
of,
around that?
yeah. When I was working at Capital Dance, I was a presenter there for a year. This is kind of one of the reasons why I sort of didn't do the 2 years. I did the 1 year. Because on the station, like that, there's no disrespect on Capital Dance. I had the best year ever. I'm so grateful to have been there. But on the show, you played quite a mixture of records, and the position that I was at there, you didn't really get to choose many of the records. It was all playlisted. You were kind of just the voice, which again was a great learning experience for me to do that kind of radio. But I think it was confusing my fan base a little bit, because then some of them would come to see me play a Capital Dance set, and that's never been a sound that I played. So I got booked on a few main stages of festivals, which was like, off main stage, you're well into the realms of commercial, because you're warming up for sort of your headliners like Ella Henderson and things like that. And it was definitely a test of how clever I was with DJing, and I earned my stripes in that for sure. And it's definitely like geared me up to do other stuff. Like I'm doing Bournemouth Sevens this summer with Ella Henderson again, and that'll be another challenge for me, holding a main stage crowd, and I'm closing the whole festival as well. It's like a 3-day festival, so I like
Is
pushing
that the
myself in
Soundfest
boundaries.
thing?
It's Bournemouth Seven, so it's like a rugby
Oh
festival,
yeah, I
but
know.
it's
Yeah,
the
I know
crowd
Bob.
you can get. I think you can get from 14-year-olds in there, so it's more of like a
Okay.
family vibe as well. Which again
Yeah.
is just something different for me to do. Like I like doing different things. I don't just want to do the same stuff all the time. So yeah, I'm happy. Crossover is a challenge every single day, but I wouldn't want to push myself in any other way other than trying to break boundaries. I think it's fun. Like if I could be like any artist, it would be your Becky Hills and MKs, Sunny Federers.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you
Yeah.
here. Is there any artists or mentors that have inspired you along the way, sort of thing? Is that the Becky Hill sort of?
Yeah, I think I
Is
honestly
that where you
think
want
that
to
they're
see
just,
yourself?
yeah, they're amazing. Like MK to me is like number one. I'm playing with him next week in Australia. I'm supporting him on part of his tour, so it's going to be insane. I've always wanted to warm up for Mark, and to have to get to do it in Australia as well on like some massive stage, it's going to be one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done, but that's because I care so much. I think you get nervous when you care. So I'm excited. And obviously Becky Hill is Becky Hill, isn't she? She's probably the number one female dance vocalist, I would say. And what she's doing is amazing. Like I've remixed one of her records for her, and I think it's sitting at like 15 million streams. So I'm gunning for the Becky Hill collab. I'm gunning for it, and it's on my vision board. It's manifested up there, so hopefully it happens one day.
So well, I mean, how long have you been DJing now? For when we met Sam
11
and
years now. This is my 11th year.
So what's been like your sort of memorable gig so far? What's the one that you've, obviously Australia sounds like it's going to be amazing, but what's been the best show you've played or the experience you've had? If you know
So
what I mean.
number one for me, and it's the easiest question ever when anybody asks me, it was in Defected, Croatia, which is a festival that Defected put on every year in Croatia for like, I think it's 5 days, but now it's done down to 3 days. But
I've done it. I've done the 5 days.
Honestly,
it's long 5 days,
isn't it? Like I'm happy
Yeah.
now. It's 3 days for them, just because
Yeah.
the staff don't sleep between like 24 hours. Bless them.
I know.
Yeah, I got booked to they do boat parties as well, and I don't know how I managed to bag this one, but I got the offer through from my agent at the time. So this is when I was signed at Defected for 3 years, and it was me and John Summit on a boat all day, like for the whole 4 hours. And this is when John was just had Thin Line out. He had I think it was called, what's the other one, the big that deep one. And it was just when John was bubbling, and like you could feel it, he was going to come into your realms of being the next Calvin Harris, I think, especially in the States. And it started at lunchtime and finished at 4. And I'd actually been at the main stage with Sam tour managing until 7 a.m. So I had to quickly go home, I think I had 2 hours sleep, quickly get some food in me and get all the way back down to something and get on this boat for 12. So I was already like a little bit delirious from like lack of sleep, and it just was magic. Like we got there, like I got there because I was on first for 2 hours and John was taking over the last 2, and people were already ready to go. Like it was sold out. It was the quickest one to sell out on that season of Croatia. Obviously, not because of me, because of John. But I couldn't believe I got to do it. Like of all the artists that were on that lineup, to be back to back with John, why me, kind of thing. So I'll be forever grateful for the Defected bookers that gave me that opportunity, because I'll remember it forever. And somebody actually tagged me again in it a couple of days ago saying favourite memorable moments, whoever was on the John Summit Jess Bays boat party at Defected. I still get DMs, I would say quite regularly every couple of weeks about it now. And this was 4 years ago. So it was magic. I've got the recording of it up on my SoundCloud, and it was just, it's John, so you know you're going to have a good time with John.
Yeah, and I mean, I've done Defected I've done it once actually. I was shooting it for Alpha Theta because we had some sort of event there, and it's such a great place. And the Defected team, they're all lovely. All the people that work there, they work so hard, and the crowd was good as well. It was so hot.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place. Where is it? Tipsy? Oh, I can't remember. I can't even say the word.
Tisno it is. It's Tisno.
Tisno,
Yeah,
Tisno. That's it. I got someone else
It's the
the other
crowd,
day.
though, isn't it? The crowd are like,
Crowd was
the
great,
crowd are just,
man.
they're diehard fans, you know. They are
And
diehard
quite
fans.
clued up, really clued up in their music. So
that's
was
what's
good.
frightening about it. You know, you can't they're so educated on what they want, and that's what I love about the brand.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. Actually, really good fun, and everyone looked after us when we were there. I got some great pictures, and the boat parties were great. They were like
they're
full
insane.
on, aren't they?
They're insane. They're absolutely
full on.
Insane. And the funniest thing about them as well is if you don't want to go on them from the start, Defected will speedboat you out. So we did a couple of speedboats, which was brilliant. You know, you kind of feel like James Bond.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you came out and then dropped off and come back again. Because the thing is, a lot of those sort of festivals, you've got gigs everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's quite full on. But what I liked about that one, and it's the site's used for quite a lot of other gigs, aren't there?
Oh, good, yeah. Like, they do hospitality out there as well, the drum and bass one.
Yeah. There's one that's coming up, which is for me, because I've talked to you about it before. I'm a melodic boy, progressive house, old school. And there's one in August, and it's like Sasha Digweed, James Abila. It's amazing. It's every Hernan Cateo, Nick Warren. It's some, if I wasn't on holiday, I'd love to either go or be a punter or actually shoot it. But I'm on holiday, so there's no way I'm going to do it. But the other thing I was going to talk to you about is that I speak to DJs about this sometimes. Do you have any like pre-show rituals or routines you do before you get into the set?
You know what? I think in the last sort of year or so, it's changed a lot for me now. Like I think I've done my party inside of, like, you know, like having a few drinks and stuff before. Whereas now the rituals change for me. I don't have alcohol anywhere around me. I don't have. Yeah.
That's what I was going to talk to you about, and that's one of the things that.
Yeah, I don't have.
I'll just let everyone know is that you took a bit of time out, didn't you?
Yeah, so I took the summer off. Like, it was sad, but I needed to do it just for my body, for my brain. And at this point, I've been DJing for 10 years, and a lot of people think that because you're sort of, and this is not me moaning, we have the best job in the world, and I'm so grateful. This is just me being a bit real. Like, people look at it from the outside and think you're in all these luxurious countries and all the stuff, and like you're always on holiday technically, but you aren't. You often are in these beautiful places for 24 hours, and the majority of that is on stage, traveling in a hotel, in an airport. So you don't actually get to enjoy some of these places unless you're there for, like, Australia, for example. I've got 5 days off to go and explore Perth, but that's often a rarity when you're touring, when you've got a heavy tour schedule. So I've just made the decision I knew I'd had enough for that moment. Like, it's what was sad was that I had some of my dream bit of bookings coming up. Like, I had Radio 1, Ibiza coming up. Yeah, I had some biggies, but I knew I needed to take some time out, and it was the best thing I've ever done. Like, it was hard as it was to sit back and watch summer unfold for the world on social media. I had to do it for myself, and it was the best decision. I've now come back into it more grateful. Like, I've got a new team. I completely had like a fresh team to come back into it. And that's no disrespect to my previous team. I just wanted a complete fresh start. I kind of felt like I was coming back into it as a new artist again, which felt nice, because taking the summer off, I think other artists come through and there's a new sort of, I don't know what the word is, but there's fresh meat around in that kind of sense. So I knew I had some hard work behind me to come back in, and I'm very grateful. 95% of the promoters that have me booked over the summer have reached out to me and said, take your time, we'll have you back next year. Because people know me of 10 years. They know that if ever I need a minute, you just bounce back. Because it's an intense industry, really, really intense industry. It's the best industry in the world to work in, but pressures are on sometimes.
I think with mental health is quite important, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's been quite a few documentaries that I've been involved in with the Alpha Theta side that they did some on that about.
Yeah, I did a panel with Dan Tate. We did a panel at Tile Yard about
touring and being on your surrounded by everyone in the weekends, and then you go home and you're on your own, and things like that. I remember that was quite a part of the the documentary
Definitely.
that I'd watched. But how, because obviously you've given up drinking
Yeah.
and and not sleeping and partying and things like that is a massive part of the scene. It's
Course.
enjoyment and everything.
Course.
And what made you give up drinking?
Do you know
What
what? I
made
think
it?
it's part of getting older, I think, as well. Like when I was tour managing with Sam, like we had our fun. That's how I look at it now. Like I've done that part of thing, and then I think when you get to like the next level of career and profile, that's when I think you need to sort of rein it in, and it's always a career, but I don't know. It feels more like now. Now I'm in production. Now I'm getting things like silver discs. I can't be a mess. Like I can't be hungover. I can't be partying. I don't want that look. And yeah, it's been difficult, especially having the adjustment of taking my friends out of the equation and stuff. Because obviously, I work in a club. My friends aren't going to come and not have a lovely time. I down to them. They're on their night out, But that's been the hard part for me to have to say no, you can't come because you'll tempt me into joining in with you. So now I have to have my own private green room. I don't. No alcohol is allowed on the stage when I'm playing. It's a completely closed stage. Nobody can be behind me, and that's just to protect myself from wanting to join in with them. And
Is
I
it
also
getting easier? Is it getting
yes. Oh,
easier
it's. Do you know
to
what? I wish I did it years ago. Genuinely, I wish I did
Yeah.
it years ago. And it's more to protect myself as well in terms of if promoters look in and if they know that I'm actively really trying to stop partying, if there's messy people behind me, it's just going to put two and two together, and people are going to think I'm involved in it when I'm not. So to eliminate people from behind the stage, that it's kind of it sucks a little bit because obviously you like watching a DJ with all the vibes behind, but it's something that I've just had to take on board. And one day when I'm more comfortable, people can come back behind me. But I just need a solid few years of really hammering that I'm a good girl and I'm on the right path. And a lot of more DJs are open about it as well because you do get given everything you want. Like a rider, for example. Why do I need 2 bottles of champagne and a bottle of vodka when I'm on my own?
and a
And this
bottle
would
of
be
tequila and
exactly
things like
like
that? Yeah.
why? Why don't we
Mm.
champion more having, I don't know, meal replacement drinks and like energy stuff and like nice fruit things? Why is that not more champion to have that on your rider? And that's something that I've adjusted to now. Like, and I'm happy. I get to go home straight away. I drive myself home. Like, well, I shouldn't probably say that because my partner Jade is my what does she call herself? She calls me a taxi. So, but yeah, I'm getting better at it. But it's nice to just sort of be able to wake up in the morning fresh headed. We can go out for lunch. But it's been an adjustment. Yeah, it's been an adjustment, especially now
I
there's a
think.
lot more DJs doing it. It makes it easier.
Well, that's what I was going to come on to. I think I've seen that Patrick Topping did a night that was no alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think talking from experience of being someone that's slightly older than you, it gets worse and worse, the hangovers.
Oh
And
my
I
God,
mean,
I know.
I haven't had a drink since Christmas, and I didn't really drink at Christmas. I had a couple of White Claws, those flavoured water things. I think for me, I mean, I don't normally drink when I'm working as a photographer because it's a bit different. When I DJ,
Of
in the
course.
past I've had a few drinks and and things like that. But I think it's so important to look after yourself. And so I've got a few friends that run parties and clubs and bars in Southampton and London, and they're saying that a lot of the youngsters, the
No,
people
I know.
coming
I've read
through,
this online
don't
actually.
drink.
Yeah, I've read this. What are they? Are they
They're
Gen
at the
Z
gym
or
and they
are
just,
they millennials or Gen Z? I get
I
it all
don't
mixed
know,
up.
I don't know. Well, I
Yeah, but
mean, my
I see
daughter,
this a lot. They don't want to drink. They don't want to drink,
they
which
don't
is
drink. They're
good.
at the gym and
Yeah,
they look after themselves, and I think that may be one of the reasons why Clubland is struggling a little bit because a lot of them don't
100%.
go out to the clubs.
100%.
And the other thing as well that I was going to say is with drinking and like you say, partying and DJing, is I think the way social media has played a deal with it is because in the
Yeah.
old days when I started or go out, there were no cameras.
Yeah.
But obviously, nowadays, and it's come up in a few times I've seen online is
Yeah.
that, if you've had a drink and you're being shown DJ and it's out there
Yeah.
for the world. So you've always
100%.
got to be,
You just got to
especially
be
from
alert all the time.
all the time. And I think you've always got to be aware of, if you're in a state, and I'm not saying you were, I'm just saying
No, of
any DJ,
course.
if you're in a
Of
state
course.
and you put the wrong record on or something like that, or
Well,
which
I've
we've
seen
all
a couple of
done.
videos of people I won't name names of doing things like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, obviously we've all done it. I've put, you know, when I used to use Tractor, which was like, you know, the laptop, turning up to go on after a DJ and trying to do it pissed was a nightmare. You know, trying to get all the cables into the
Oh,
mixer
mate, I've
drunk.
had
It's a
moments
nightmare.
like that, and I've not even had a drop of alcohol in me. I've just played Forbidden Forest last year, and I don't know what I did, but you so focused in it, right? Especially when you're 4-deck mixing, and I was on one of the main stages. I'm talking 10,000 people in front of me.
Oh my God.
Halfway through, I'm starting to relax a little bit more into it and starting to maybe tame up my off the ball slightly because I am now starting to enjoy it more. And I was completely sober. I'd literally just driven myself there. And I hit the wrong cue button and it
Oh,
just
I've done it.
silenced. And Jade, actually, my
Did it
partner,
stop?
it completely stopped. But luckily, I had an a cappella queued up on one of the ones. So I literally just hit it, went quiet and went whack. So I don't think a lot of people clocked it because as soon as I did it, I thought, there's so many phones in front of me. This is going to be on Twitter in a minute, isn't
The worst thing is, you know, when you
it
turn
was
up to a
not. I
gig.
got away with it like murder.
Oh, mate, that's a DJ's nightmare. It's like when you turn up to a
Honestly,
gig
it happens
and
to the best of
you
us,
know
man.
where you've got 4 CDJs all linked, but then you go to the one that's at the end, but it's the one playing because it's linked with someone else's stick. That's when I get confused. I've done that where I've gone, taken it out.
Luckily now, Pioneer have introduced that new little feature where if you touch it, the music dips. So you know, danger, don't touch that one.
I know, it's funny. And it's weird. It's like, as a photographer's nightmare, I've said it before, is that for me is a DJ's nightmare.
God.
Is taken out the wrong stick. Like that for me is but photographer's nightmare, and I don't know if I spoke about it before, is that I have a dream about it all the time, is that I never shoot enough pictures. So if I'm doing a gig with you and then I come back the next night and I've only shot 20 frames, it's really weird. It's a nightmare I have. I don't know what it means, but you know what I mean, where you don't shoot enough.
No, I get it. I understand. I get it. Where it's a silent crowd. I get it all the time. It must be like a little anxiety thing.
That's my photographer's nightmare, where I'll wake up and go, oh my God, I've shot 20 frames. Like I'm supposed to have shot the whole gig. You know what I mean? What have I done? I don't know. I don't know. I'm talking. Yeah. But going back on to touring, which is interesting. How has that changed without you drinking and all that? How's that changed with planning and stuff? Because you're doing Australia and stuff like that. Do you try and get a bit more time?
Yeah, I do. I guess now, obviously, because I'm doing production stuff and I'm doing a lot of cover shows on Kiss FM because I'm gunning to get a show there. It's definitely made me have more time and a lot more clarity on stuff. Like I get to see my family a lot more now because often when you're partying and stuff, the next day, like if you're in bed, you're just a slug essentially. But now I can go to my shows and then I'm up in the morning. I'm out. Me and Jade, my partner, can go for coffee, and then I can go see my family. I think that's one thing that's really struggled for me, and I know this is something that Sam struggled with as well. So I know it's not just me that it happens to. It's finding the right work balance, family balance, and often when you're accepting all these shows as well, because obviously you never want to say no to anything. There's been a few occasions where I've missed like one of my nephew's big birthdays, or I've missed my nan's 90th and stuff, and I'm never going to be able to get that back. So now I'm sort of more on the health side. That's become a bigger, more priority for me, especially now as I'm getting older and stuff, and family getting older, and nephews are growing. You want to be there and watch these things happen. So I'm just trying to get better. Balance definitely. It's a big focus for me this year.
I think that's important, isn't it, for anyone, is just to make yourself feel comfortable and like sort of focused on what you want to do. And I think sometimes with alcohol and stuff like that, it can cloud it. It's I know if I get hungover, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Leeds days, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely right off. So, like I said, the older you get, it gets an extra day, and being self-employed, same as you can't get motivated
we don't get
to do
holiday
anything.
pay. We don't get sick pay.
No.
I've been really lucky now. Like the new team I've got, my agent and my manager, they're both sober. They're both like they're pushing that drum as well. So that makes it a lot more comfortable for me as well, because sometimes they know things that I don't necessarily know, if that makes sense. Like they were the ones that said close stage, and now I would never have thought of doing something like that if I didn't have a team around me that encouraged me to do that. And now it's been a great change for me to do. Great change. It's temptation's not there.
How are you with that? Because that's another thing, obviously, because it's a photography podcast. How are you with photographers and videographers when you're performing, because obviously that's grown up a lot. You know, that's got bigger since I've been doing 25 years. You know, in the old days, now, you know, some gigs there's about four photographers or videographers behind with monopods, and you know, you've got like a
Some of
live
it is
stream there.
insane now, insane.
I
Like
know.
there's about
How are
5,
you with
6
that
cameras
though?
on you. I'm
How are you with
fine
that as an
as long as
artist?
I know what I'm stepping into.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get a bit nervous if I get there and like they have got the big, because some of these cameras now are like monsters, absolute monsters. But I don't mind speaking about it as well. I struggle with an eating disorder, so things for me in terms of the way I look on camera is something that really freaks me
Well,
out a
I
little bit.
know we've
Yeah,
talked about
you
this
know
as
I've
our
had it.
photography
Yeah,
shoots.
of course
Yeah,
I've had it in the studio with you. This is why I want to really work with you guys, you know, because I can talk to you about anything instead of walking
yeah.
into something with a new photographer. I just wouldn't feel comfortable. But now with your realms of social media and everything that goes online, unfortunately, you always remember the one bad comment that you get on something minus the 1,000 good ones, you know, like so if somebody comments on my weight or something, which happens especially to us females, especially on TikTok as well.
Well, we talked about this last week, and I didn't
Yeah,
want to. I want, you know, it's up to you to about talking
of
about this,
course,
because
I
we've
don't
spoke
mind,
about it,
mate. I
and you
mean,
know,
it
obviously a
should be
friend of mine,
spoken
and
about.
you know, I don't want to put this out there, but obviously you what you've just said, and how are you with social media is a big thing that we all have to
Yeah,
deal with being self-employed and everything. Sorry, I think you can hear my dog
that's all
moaning in
right.
the
I'm
background,
surprised you
bless
haven't heard my cats.
her. But what I was going to say is, you mentioned to me on a shoot last week about someone mentioned about your weight and things like that on TikTok. You know, we're unfortunately that's like trolls and all that. How do you deal with that? You know,
I
what?
mean, what's really hard for me, Dan, is when I entered music, I was a lot bigger. I mean, I would probably say I was maybe about 14 stone at my biggest, which that's, if we're talking about BMI and stuff, that is more in your overweight. Like, that's a normal size for somebody. I'm not saying that that's not, but to me, I was very unhealthy. I was touring loads, obviously eating rubbish food like your McDonald's, your petrol garages, your service stations.
Yeah.
I
I
very
know that.
rarely had time to sit down and have a proper meal. And obviously I was heavily drinking a lot, which is loaded with sugar and carbs, and you don't realise.
Yeah,
So as I started to take more sort of like, what's the word, like care about my body and gymming and stuff and yoga and things, I did lose weight. And then obviously when I was back end of last year, when I was really just not looking after myself in terms of just doing too much, I did come back down, and my eating disorder sort of came back into fruition, because it's not something that's there every day. It will be with me for life, but it just sort of picks and chooses when it wants to come in. And I feel like stress, anything that's stressing me out, it's then when that then grips onto me. So I was getting a lot online of, oh my god, she's lost so much weight, blah blah blah. And I loved how I looked in it, and it was one of my, it was one of the new press shots. Not the last one we just did, the one we did before. I think it was sort of November time,
yeah,
and that was when I had just come back into
yeah,
the industry after taking some time out, and I went away and I did do some like treatment and stuff during that time just to get my head straight. And it was some idiot. All the photos we were getting 10, 10 out of 10 feedback. But then this one troll on TikTok just said about she's lost so much weight, and it stuck with me then, because that's when then I came into the studio with you again for the next couple of times we did last month. It was there, and it was I think one of the first things I said to you, oh, I've had someone on TikTok say about this. So it just, if you know what, nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, because it can be so detrimental. Like, it's nuts, because I knocked my confidence for 6 months, just that one comment against all
Oh,
the lovely
mate,
ones.
it's hard to say, because I could go, oh, don't worry about it, but you know, everyone's the same. You know,
It's
everyone's different
horrible.
with, and I think trolls and social media is something that I can't stand. I think
Me
it's
too.
vile. You would never say that to your face. Do you
Never.
know what I mean? And you know, they would walk down the street and walk past you and not say it. And I just think, and especially for women, and especially for what you're going through and what you've been through with your eating disorder and all that, I think you've been you out there to talk about it, and I think that's important, because
Thanks.
I think hopefully that can help other people.
Course, but you wouldn't really you wouldn't go online, wouldn't you, and say to somebody, "Cool, you've got fat." So why do you think that by saying, "Cool, you've lost weight," why is that? There's no difference in the two, because you don't know how that person's lost weight, or you don't know how that person's put on weight, and quite frankly, it's nothing to do with you. It's absolutely nothing to do with you. So just zip it, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, And
It's with me for life, Dan. There's nothing I can do about it. Unfortunately, they don't go away. It's part of you. So it's just about managing them and making sure they're not in active like fruition at the time. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do
and you've
about it.
got Jade, you've got like a nice
Yeah, I've got,
family
honestly,
background, you
my
know.
mum struggles with food as well. So I think it's nothing that I haven't got amazing. And I've got some incredible friends around me. One of my friends, Rio Frederica, she's in full recovery as well from one, and she won't mind me saying that because she does a lot online about it as well. And having those people around me, I think, is great because they're just great influence. And if I need to pick up the phone, especially with Rio, I can just call her and say, I'm struggling today, and she just gives me the best pep talk ever, and then I'm fine. I go and sit and have my meal, and I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about surrounding yourself with the right people, I think.
No, I'm
And
proud
like I
of you,
said,
mate, and you're doing really well at the
thank you.
moment. And you know, you're
Thanks,
smashing
darling.
it, and it's good. Just going back to social media as well. Obviously, I find it a pain in the arse. I mean,
Yeah, same.
it's one of those. I love it, but I just find it, for me as a photographer, is that, you know, I haven't got a team, I haven't got money to just throw in,
Yeah.
you know, just constantly updating, and I'm, you know, thinking, and I also, you know, I always struggle a little bit, not struggle, but they've changed the algorithm again for
Yeah.
Instagram. And like, so as a photographer's point of view, you know, you have to do more reels, and I'm more of a
Yeah.
stills guy and all that sort of stuff. How are you adapting with it? Do you have a team? I mean, you're pretty
I
good
don't have a
online.
team. Yeah, I don't have a team because that's another massive cost. Like
Yeah.
now, a lot of
People
the
don't
time, like
understand that, do they?
honestly, like videographers now, they're worth every single penny. But when you're not getting paid, say for one of the lower pay gigs I've got, if I'm bringing a videographer in for that show, quite often that's half my fee gone. Half my fee, and that's
Yeah.
before management's come out, agents come out, tax has come out. And sometimes I can walk away from a show with £100 just because I've added a videographer. But now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, people are looking so much on what you're doing online. Having that videographer is so necessary. So I've actually just brought myself one of these new, you've seen it, this little gimbal camera, because I'm such a techno dinosaur. I just, when they do the new Apple update on the phone, I go into absolute meltdown because I don't know what anything does. So now I've brought myself a little camera, and it's so easy to use. A lot of the vloggers are using it, like because now I'm going to start going into vlogging era, especially when I'm doing my touring. I think that's really, it looks really cool online, especially a lot of DJs are doing it. I just want to up my YouTube game. And this little camera is like magic. It's on a gimbal, and it like follows you around, and the sound on it's perfect. You don't have to have any external microphones. And you just set it up next to the decks, and it records everything in 4K. You just then load it up to an app on your phone, bounce it straight out, and it's already made into a reel with effects on it. You just hit upload. And that to me is perfect because I don't have to do anything. Nobody has to edit it. It's all done. And I think it's called DJI, I think it's called. It's about £600, which is quite a lot of money, but it's saved me so much money now in not having to have a videographer. Like, don't get me wrong, when I have the big shows, the videographers come, like, just for that extra bit of flair. Like, for example, what Radio 1 Weekender, I will have a videographer for that because I need those stuff to look 10 out of 10. But this little thing has definitely saved me a lot of money and a lot of time. So I highly recommend getting one.
I think with social media as well, is that, as you know, is that you've got to be posting all the time.
Of course,
Do you know
you
what I
can't
mean? Like, you
stop.
know,
Like,
everyone.
luckily, the scheduling app, like the part where you can schedule a lot of stuff now, has definitely saved me a lot of time and brain power because then I can just schedule what I've done for the week, and then I don't have to sit there on socials all the time, you know, because it eats you alive if you're continually scrolling and comparing yourself to other people a lot. I think.
Yeah, and I think that's the same with me. I mean, my wife says it to me all the time, and you know, everyone will definitely, you know, sort of know that
Of
they're doing it.
course,
You know, I'm
it
just
makes you have imposter
scrolling and
syndrome.
looking
Like,
at,
yeah, imposter
yeah,
syndrome sets in then.
I'm just looking at. Well, not just that. It's just I'm looking at crap.
I
I'm
know.
just scrolling and scrolling, and then you get you get hit into, like, you know, I don't know. I'm looking at something. Just something about
Stupid
football or
videos.
wrestling. I'm into wrestling
Yeah,
or something,
I know you
and
are.
then it goes down, and you just go into, like, you know, the algorithms just get you. And also, you're right with imposter syndrome. I think it's the same with any creative. You always look at other
100%.
people's work, and you know, sometimes I've definitely felt in the past a little bit more like, oh my God, I'm rubbish. Look at this
No, of
work.
course. I mean,
You know, oh my
my
God.
first manager ever, Sonny Wharton, and he's still my best friend to this day. I've actually got his initials tattooed on me because he's that special to me.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, Sonny. He's a
He's
lovely
one of the
guy. Yeah.
best. And he said to me, blinkers on. And just like think of it in a way of like a racehorse. They have the blinkers on, only focused on the finish line and not focused on anything that's going on around them. And that's something that's complete. I need to get that tattooed somewhere on me as well, so I remember it. And it's so true, because it just means stop looking around at what's going on and just focus on exactly where you want to be, and that will make you feel a lot happier. And it does. It's something I always have to like keep reminding myself of doing, especially when there's people doing the shows you want to do and doing the things you want to do. You just got to keep focusing on, just keep working hard.
I think sometimes it gives you a little bit of inspiration, doesn't it, as well? You think, right, you want to get, I look at some of the photographers, especially the ones, I always like into movie stuff and all that. So I'd love to shoot movie portraits. I've said it before.
Yeah, cool.
And, when you look at like Vanity Fair and the Oscars all backstage, and you think, oh my God, and and I'd love to do that. And then you just think, let's push towards my portrait work getting better and things like that. And I always look at inspiration. And even there's a lot of people in the electronic music scene, photographers that I follow, and I look and go, like, there might be live or portraits, and go, how did they do that? Oh, wow. And then I get, I've had the sort of, and we all do, like I say, we all have that sort of, oh my God, I'm not good enough as them, or something like that. And I think that's just being creative. You've just got to then go, no, come on, look what you've done already. And, let's get better, always get better.
I think something for me that always is like something that I want to achieve is going to the Brits. I just want to go to the Brits, but not as in the crowd. I want to go to the Brits and be on a table. Yeah. And that's I think all of us musicians want to do something like that. But now seeing there's a lot of women now there that are winning things. Becky Hill is getting getting the #1 dance act. You've got Charlie XCX. Actually, they called it the Brats this year because she cleaned up, I think, of 6 awards. Ray did it, and now it's definitely more encouraging for us girls that we will sit at those tables soon. And especially now, I think you forget about how far you've come because you're always focused on achieving the next goal. And now, obviously, I have the silver disc, which is from the Brits. So I just need to remember, I am one step closer. I will get there. So just keep working hard,
I think it is. I think it's just being focused. And I think going back to what we said about not drinking and things like that, your mind is a lot more like sort of, you've got a clear mind. I mean, I go to the gym quite a lot now, and I'm enjoying that I did before, but now I'm just looking at not, sort of just being more focused. I think that's important,
Definitely.
to get where you want to be. So look, just another thing is what piece of advice would you wish to give someone starting out? What you want to do?
It would be to do another job that isn't just the DJing side of things. So for me, it was tour managing, because you definitely get a better understanding of the music industry. Even if it might be, interning at DJ Mac or something like that, go and do something else that isn't just focusing on the DJ side of things, because you'll meet a lot more connections that way. Like for example, tour managing Sam, I know all the promoters now. So when I then go into this, but it was so organic for me because I didn't know I was going to DJ. So I just naturally met all these people. And then when I made the decision to DJ, I could call on them, and Sam could pick up the phone for me and say, will you give Jess a shot? Because they already know me. So definitely, I think getting involved in the music industry in another sense of the actual career path you want to do is massive. Like, you're going to learn so much.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. And I think, like I said to, how I started as being an assistant, as a photographer. And I think it's the same thing. If you can get in with a label or, a promoter or something like that, or a DJ.
You've got to earn your stripes. That's how you look at it. Earn your stripes. You're not going to just walk into being a main stage DJ. I think a lot of people forget that. You've got to earn your stripes. Right? If you want to be one of the top ones, it often doesn't happen for 10 years. People often think that the ones are breaking through now, like James Hype, for example, who is an absolute force around the world. People think that James has just arrived. James has been grafting for 15 years, handing out flyers in Malia, that's how long it's taken him to now get to where he deserves to be. People coming in now, they want it now, and it's not like that. It's not like the hustle. I
think that's with social media though, as well, isn't it? So showing off as being like that. And I mean, if you could give, another one is if you give a message to aspiring female producers and DJs, because I think it's probably the best. Again, being in 25 years in the industry, like I said, this is the whole point of the podcast. People say it, but I think at the moment it's been fantastic for female DJs to come through. And it's
with the females, it's reach out to us. Like, my DMs are always open for anybody to message me. If any girls out there want to DM me, hit me up. I'll give you some advice on anything, even if it's just what equipment should I use, or if they want to come down to my shows, they can come down and hang out. I think Sam did it for me, so I'm paying it back. Like, I'm working a lot with a DJ called Chloe at the minute, and she's shit hot. She's so good, honestly, she's so good. So I'm helping her in terms of getting her in venues, and advising her on things, and even if it's just giving her feedback on her new productions and stuff. And now my management company have just signed her. So I think it's about paying it back, especially when it's been paid forward for you. So, and it's enjoyable.
I just think the scene is so open now. It's so good. It's not just a male orientated scene.
No,
That
it's
it
way
used to
more
be
enjoyable. It's way more
much
enjoyable
better.
when you're doing it with other people. What's the point of being competitive and and like just I've got it in me, Dan.
I know. And so, what's next for you? Upcoming projects and collaborations we should look out for. What we've got coming up.
Well, hopefully the Becky Hill one, when she replies to my DMs one day, which she will. I'll track her down. Don't worry, I'm coming for you. Yeah, I've got MK Tour coming up, which hopefully is just going to be as magic as I keep dreaming about it. Just announced Radio 1 Ibiza again, so I'm so excited for that, because it's like me, Sonny Fodera, Chris Lake. So again, idols of mine, and now I'm going to be playing with them in the sun. I think it's more just about having a nice, solid, calm year. I know I've got a lot of eyes on me at the minute, obviously, because I took the break, because a lot of DJs don't do it. You don't sort of admit that you need the time. So I think people are kind of watching what I do this year. So for me, it's just about staying focused, staying nice and quiet, and just smashing my shows, being consistent, and actually, enjoying it more this year, not putting any pressure on myself. And I think when you take that time out, you come back and really, really, really appreciate more what you've got. I think when you're doing it for like 10 years, it becomes just like part of what you do. And now I had that time away. Now I know how much more this is genuinely my dream of what I want to do forever. And I think just keeping myself to myself this year, not partying, not being out, even if it's just like events where I get invited to. I don't really go to them anymore, just because I don't want to at the minute. I just want to.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Do you not go to
No, I do. I mean,
events
I do.
like
If they're really important ones, Dan, I'll go to them. Like if there's
Yeah.
places where I need to be seen at, I'll go. But now often I just say, no, I don't want to do it. I'm just not going to put myself around it. I don't want to be, again, the perception online on social media. If somebody that is like trying to go through the transition of sobriety, being out at parties, people just look at it and get the wrong impression. So at the minute, it's all about perception for me, and I just need to be wary of that and just stay focused and be happy, And I'm looking at doing again another USA tour at the end of the year. So exciting stuff, mate. Exciting stuff. I think I've got like 5 Ibiza shows this year. I'm doing a lot with D4 Dance, which is Defected, small commercial sub brand. And that's the right place for me to be in, because people, again, view me as commercial, but D4 Dance is the crossover brand of Defected. So that kind of stuff's perfect for me. I'm excited, mate. I'm doing Tomorrowland, which is, saying that out loud.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was one of the first bookings that I got when I came back from my break, which was like, I was in tears, mate. I didn't think it was real. The offer came through from my agent at the time. And I rang him up and I said, is this actual Tomorrowland? Like, actual Tomorrowland? He was like, yeah. And I couldn't get it. I didn't think I was anywhere there. Like, I didn't think I was there, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it in July. So that's going to be a big pinch me moment. Like, I'm already planning the set. I'm debating whether I want to do 100% my own music, or I want to, because I've been doing a lot of research on it online, and a lot of the crowd say this is not a place where you come to show off. This is a place where you come to educate us on new music. So that to me thinks maybe I should just do a 100% Jess Bays set.
Actually, going back to that, Jess, is when you play your sets, how much? Because I've got a few friends that produce that actually don't like putting their music into the set. Do you play a lot of your own music? Because
I'm
a lot of
terrible
people
for
don't.
it. Yeah, I'm terrible for it, because a lot of the time I'm finding new music of other people and I love it, so I get obsessed with it. So I want to play all that out, and then there's been so many occasions after where I've been leaving the club and walk through the crowd, and I've had a fan tap me on my back and go, "You didn't play Temptation," and I'm like, "Oh, I forgot. I actually forget." So now I've been more wary of. I've got at the very top of my USB, when you open it up, Jess Bays records. So it's always there, looking at me in the face to remember to play them. So I don't know. I think you just forget sometimes. I do
But
genuinely
also, if you've
forget.
played them loads and loads before,
Of course.
you know, you get a little bit bored, but you forget that the people out there are actually
Of course,
wanting
that's
that.
how they know me, right? From these hits. But I'm already
Exactly.
working on new hits. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And also you're playing stuff. I always, you know, again, I'm not at the level you guys, but when I'm playing my own music out, you want to hear it because you want to go,
course.
oh, we have to take that down. That's too loud.
Of
That
course.
doesn't work. That kick doesn't work. The coming
Unfortunately,
out the break doesn't
the
work.
car tests don't do it anymore. You need to go and take it on the big speakers.
Yeah. So it's weird, isn't it? It's like, I mean, some people, like you say, play all their stuff, and then other times you don't want to. But
Course, like
it's
you got look at your likes of like MK for example. He's got to play Burning every set. He's got to play 17, the Powerless. But they've got to play him every set. So I want to chat to him about this when I see him. And say, do you get sick of them? Because DJ Ezen, for example, he must get sick of all the garage hits he has to play at every single set. You know, but that's what it is. That's what's got you to the position that you're in. So just
actually, it was funny.
embrace.
I spoke to Sister Bliss about that once,
Yeah.
about insomnia, and she was lovely, Blissy, and she said, I'd never get bored of it because it's made me what I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
It's
mean?
good to
And
look at it like that.
yeah. So Jess, look, we normally have questions from listeners, and
Cool.
today has been a special one from my friend Claire Louise Hutchinson. So she's a big Defected fan. They've got a big like fan group that they do parties and all that, and then they put this in their group to ask questions. So this is from them, from Claire Louise and all the group. So the first one is top 3 favourite tunes to play. Have you got any get out of trouble ones, or those ones where you look at the crowd
I think the biggest
sometimes
get
and go,
out of trouble one is probably I'm Van Held and I Want Your Soul. It's the biggest one to
okay,
get out of trouble with because everyone loves it. DJ Cozy Pickup for me is a very, 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 very special record. And I think maybe the new one from MK and Becky Hill called Swim. I think I owe them, and they owe me, sorry, a lot of money in streams because I have it on repeat in the house, in the car. I'm obsessed with it. So that's a new favourite of mine, definitely. It's magic. It's the perfect like fruition of Becky and MK together. It's beautiful. Go check it out.
what actually talking about that though, so when you do DJ, and I will ask, I've got other guests coming on, and it'll be a question thing, is that when you get to a certain level, you don't have those, it's like when you first started DJing, you play a crowd, and that time when you put a record on, you just see everyone disperse, and you go,
Of course.
oh my God,
Of
what have I
course.
done? And then you're like going through,
Of
like,
course.
is this one work, this one? And then sometimes you have to go, oh, I've just got to play something big to get them back on.
I think sometimes, like something I always remind myself is this is how I like to go into a set. I like to give 50% of what they know, and then 50% of educating them on new stuff, because that's exactly what I would want to listen to on the dance floor. As much as you love listening to what you know, especially with vocal house, you want to sing along to it, and it's often you can't sing something you don't know. So that's where you have to keep the balance right. Sometimes maybe even 75% people know, and then a little snippet of new stuff, because another anthem is only going to become another anthem with people playing it, right? So yeah, I think finding the right balance of vocals is definitely something I always have to focus on.
Yeah, no, definitely. Next one, top 3 favourite tunes to. Oh, I've done that one. Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry, cut that out.
That's all right.
Okay, really good. Next one, dream venue event you'd love to play.
Glastonbury, number one.
Oh, right, okay.
Glastonbury. I think it's for any, especially UK artist. It's number one. It's been on my vision board for 10 years. 10 years, and I'll get there. I just need to focus and manifest. It'll happen. Glastonbury number one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm lucky I'm going this year.
Oh, can you sneak me in? Can you dig me through the tunnel, please, and get me in?
So I'm working with a few artists. Hopefully, touch wood, it's going to manifest to work out. But I've only been once before, and
I've been once. I actually have a funny story about it, and I'll tell you quickly. I went with Sam.
Go on, yeah, go for it.
Me, Sam Devine, and my partner Jade. We went, and we hired a camper van. So we driving in, and we were meeting up with some other friends as well, because we were going to go and park next to each other. So we parked up at Tesco's, which is like not even a mile away from the Glastonbury site. And we would just wait. We had to wait about an hour for other friends to turn up. So we obviously had the engine running. So we was in the back of the car. We had some music playing. We were just getting in the party spirit. And when we went to turn the engine back on to go after an hour, we'd killed the battery. So now we couldn't get into the festival, right? So luckily Sam had RAC, so she rang the RAC, and we had to sit there for maybe 4 or 5 hours just waiting for them to pick us up. So we actually got lifted into Glastonbury by the RAC. We didn't drive in.
Oh my God.
We didn't have any power on it. They had to charge all the battery up for us, and then they lifted us back out again at the end of the festival, which is just hilarious.
What a way of not being able to drink.
You make an entrance, Dan. We don't come in not swinging, you know. It couldn't have happened to like anybody else. It was just going to happen to us.
Oh my God. Oh, that's cool. How did you get back out then? What, they came and picked you up again?
We had to actually, because Glastonbury finishes on the Sunday and the RAC didn't start working until Monday. So we had to carry all of our stuff for the week that we'd been there and literally drag it out. And we had to walk down all these windy roads, and we ended up finding a pub to stop in and get some chips. And Sam's mum drove and picked us up, and I will never forget it. She was just going ballistic at us because we had so much stuff, Dan, because obviously we couldn't get the bloody van out. But it was just like, I'll never forget it. Never ever forget it.
Oh,
I feel
amazing.
like I can't go back to Glastonbury yet unless I'm going to try and up that story, you know.
Oh my God. What was I going to say? Okay, the next one is, if she could rewind back to her most memorable DJ experience, when and where and what made it so special. So I think we've already covered that. Was that?
Yeah, it would be the John Summit for me. Definitely doing the John Summit boat party.
A producer she'd love to collab with. I think we might have covered that, but it was at MK or.
I mean, MK would be number one, Sonny Fodera, and then if we go more into sort of your classic house, Dennis Ferrer. Magic.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, Dennis. Yeah. Just Temptation, my big record, has got a lot of influence of Hey Hey in it. If you listen, you could hear the influence on the drums, and I think that's one of my favourite parts about my record, Temptation, is the driving drums on it. It took the commercial vibe record into clubland just from changing the drums. And if I hadn't loved Dennis Ferrer so much, I probably would have never thought of putting that into my record. So to do something with Dennis would be magic.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, he's amazing. This is a good one. A song she would love to remix.
Do you know what? I've actually just
any song. Doesn't have to be dance.
Do you know what? I think it might be something like Armand Van Helden, I Want Your Soul, just because it's such a... Or what's the other one? Is it by Lovebirds? I want you in my soul. Is it that one? There's something I can never... I'm not going to sing it. It's just a Defected classic. Just, something in the classics realm, definitely.
Anything non-house that you'd like to remix?
You know what? I actually just heard the new Sugar Babes record, and I've got straight on the phone to my manager and said, "Can you get me that remix, please?" It's so good, you know. I love pop. I love pop music. It's my biggest guilty pleasure. Absolute biggest guilty pleasure. But maybe it would be something from like Stevie Wonder or even Luther Vandross, something back in those eras, because that's what my parents used to play to me. That's how I know music.
I love Luther, mate. I'm a big Luther fan. So I
actually just did an edit of Never Too Much, and it's flying on downloads. Yeah, so
I saw him live. Saw him live. He did a few nights in a row at Wembley Arena, and when I was at university, I used to sell binoculars. So I saw Prince there about 4 nights when he was Symbol.
Wow.
This was like in the mid-90s. I was a student, and they used to sell binoculars at the back, and we used to watch the gigs. It was good. I remember that. But Luther's a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Luther. What I was going to say, mate, we're done. Jess, it's been absolutely brilliant to have you. Thank you so much. We got it done at the end
of our mad schedules, mate.
No one knows this, but we cancelled this about 4 times. We both kept doing it. And, you know, like I say, I've seen you so much the last few weeks, more than my bloody family.
I
know your face so much because it's always on my monitor.
This, mate. Hopefully we can meet up again at AD and have our annuals there.
Yeah. Well, no, we've still got a bit to go through anyway with some editing stuff. But like I say, you're
everything you've done on it as well. I'm so grateful.
No, it's been good. I mean, your face has been on this 32-inch monitor I'm looking at so much lately. I know every pore.
Every part of me. That's funny. That is funny.
Mate, but look, listen, thanks for coming on. I'll put the links on with Ascension and all that because it'll come out. This will come out around the same time
Thank
So
you.
I'll put links up. If everyone could subscribe to the YouTube, Spotify, leave some reviews, please. It's been great, but such good feedback to this podcast. It's been loads of fun doing it. It's more of a love of everything. You know, it's
Of
not. I'm
course,
not looking
I'd love to do one. Honestly, I'd love to do one.
Oh, thanks, mate. Well, listen.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much, and see you soon, guys.
Bye, Dan.